Hello scrappers and planet lovers, Tin Man here with another video. So today what I'm going to do is take apart this old dehumidifier. Unfortunately it doesn't work anymore. I do have a video on taking apart a modern dehumidifier, so if you're interested in that, go check that one out. What I like about these older models is there is a lot less plastic. The newer models tend to be all plastic shell, so there's a lot more waste that goes into the landfill. These ones are a lot more metal. There is a lot of goodies inside with a decompressor that has copper. You've got some silver, you've got some aluminum coils, a lot of nice number 2 copper pipes. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to take it apart for you, show you how to separate and maximize your profit. One important note, because it's an older model, any type of air conditioner, dehumidifier, fridge, freezer that was made prior to 1993 has Freon inside. And it is actually illegal to cut the copper yourself because it will release the Freon into the atmosphere. So I actually have a friend that comes in after I store up a couple. He'll come in, flush it properly and safely so it doesn't get emitted to the atmosphere. And that's what I've done. So I have, for the sake of this video and for the sake of that compressor, taken off the exterior bolts. Okay, so here we go. First thing, really the only waste is the front panel. This is plastic. Unfortunately, I can't do anything with this other than throw it into the garbage. As you can see, this is a Mastercraft. Okay, it has the compressor right here. The pipes have already been cut, but you can see a lot of nice copper here. It's got some fan. I am going to take the compressor out for you to show you. I am not going to take apart the compressor for this video. I actually have another video that shows you how to quickly and safely take the nice copper motor out of the compressor to maximize your profit. It is definitely worth your time and value. If I was to take this compressor in, I would get probably about 5–10 cents a pound. Okay. There is also on the side a nice copper coil there. There's also a couple silver contact boxes there. So as I said, the other video has all of that, so go check that out if you're interested. I also have to cut off the remaining copper. And a lot of times what happens is the copper coils are connected to steel somewhere. So all I do is I take a magnet and I will run it down the tube until it gets magnetic. And I will cut as close to the copper as I can and to maximize my profit. And I will put this copper into the clean part into my number 2 bin. Where there's soldering, that will go into also my number 2 bin. Okay. Actually, some of the clean will go into my number 1, and the soldering part, sorry, will go into my number 2. There's 3 different hoses right here. As I said, this is clean, so this would go into my number 1. So there's a lot of money still just attached to this compressor. Okay, as you can see, the outside shell, I'm going to take this off. It is metal. I put a magnet to it. It sticks. Okay, there is also inside, right here, a control box. So I'm going to flip this over, and there is a silver contact inside that. I will show it to you in a second. I'm going to get to it later because I want to show you everything inside first. There's a lot of nice number 1 copper here with a little bit of soldering. And if I turn this around, there is a really nice aluminum grill here that's connected to my copper. And sometimes, some of the older models, you're going to get lucky and get actually a copper coil. So copper, this is, as I said, it's got a little bit of corrosion on it. This would be number 2. Number 2 copper is about $1.60 a pound. And like this has got a nice weight to it. Okay, this unfortunately was not in this model. But I'm not going to fret too much because aluminum, clean aluminum like this, it goes for about 40 cents a pound. Okay, so something's better than nothing, and again, the important thing is diverting it away from the landfill. Okay, it does have a couple bolts that I do need to take out, that I'm going to do right now. Okay, and there's a lot of just little bolts that you got to work at. Okay, again, I'm just going to pull it out. And there are spots where it is connected with copper. All I'm going to do is I'm going to get as close as I can to the aluminum It's not hard to cut. I just use a pair of pliers. Okay, and it's going to go through. Actually, I'm going to cut it right here so I can get it. Okay, so there's actually two pipes. This little piece does have a little bit of copper on the end. I do have to take off this sticky foam to get at the copper. Okay, it's not hard to do, it just pries off. Okay, and it does reveal, as you can see inside there, some copper. So there is copper connected to aluminum. This aluminum does have a steel plank on here that I have to pull off. It's just glued on, okay, but it comes off. But as you can see, it's almost like an aluminum accordion. As I said, this goes for about 40 cents a pound, and there's probably about 2 pounds here, so it's a nice score of aluminum. I have here a grill that I have to take off. Okay, I'm going to start on this side and take off actually the motor. Okay, I've already taken this off. Last piece of plastic, okay, it's the fan. Some people do sell parts on eBay, I don't. Okay, so this is another copper bearing motor. You can see the copper inside. I will open it to get out the copper to show you. Again, copper bearing motors, you could bring this in as is and get 10 cents a pound, but it is well worth your time taking the copper out of it. I also have a video on taking apart copper bearing motors, so if you're interested in that, check it out. I might show you a little bit of this one for the sake of time, but I'm going to definitely show you all the other parts. And I'm going to turn this back around. I got to find all the bolts. As I said, there are a lot of screws, and I got to make sure that I get them all. Okay. This bracket is steel. It's going to go into my steel bin. Okay, so this is steel. I have right here on the side a silver contact switch. So I'm actually just going to break this off. Okay, and anytime you have a clicky box like this, you find these little boxes actually on microwaves, you find them on control panels. If you break this open, there is some silver contact. So I'm going to break that open right now for you. Just using a hammer. Okay, I'm just going to break the plastic. Okay, and it opens. There's a little bit of plastic. But I'm opening it right now. And as you can see, I'm going to turn this over. That dot and that dot, there are 3 little dots. Those are silver. They're silver contacts. So what I actually do is I take them and I will put them into a little silver container. One day I hope to hit it with some nitric acid and make myself a little silver bouillon. Okay, and there are a couple of them on here. I also have, and I just cut the cord a second ago, I have an appliance cord. So this wire is what connects to the wall. In Canada, this is classified as insulated copper wire. I call it appliance wire. It goes for about $1 a pound. It's not quite a pound, but it adds up. It also has, and I've already taken these out for the video, some nice clean brass connectors that fit into the plug. Some people leave them in there for the weight. I actually take these out because gold brass like this is $1.20 a pound right now. So definitely worth your while to separate. So I put it into my clean brass bucket. And this into my appliance wire bucket. There's also a couple different connectors that have wires on it. I'm going to get this little one off here. There's one of my pieces here. so there is still a little bit of copper wire. And then I'll get to this side. All right, there it is. So I just have to get this last bolt that I didn't see. Now, there is a lot of nice copper on here that I'm going to cut off, okay? And in order to maximize my profit, I'm going to make sure that I cut the little pieces of solder. I'm going to cut those and put those into my number 2. All of this arm would be number 1, okay? Number 1 right now is about $2.20 a pound, okay? Also with this arm, it goes all the way through. There's a really nice coil right here. This piece is classified as a copper aluminum radiator. I would suggest if you take this apart to wear gloves. These pieces of aluminum are very sharp. I will take an angle grinder and I will cut off these pieces to maximize my profit, get all the copper I can. I will actually have an upcoming video on showing you how to take apart these radiators, so when that comes out, please check that out. But if I was to bring this in as is, I would get about 35 to 40 cents a pound for it. Okay, but again, make sure you take the copper off and maximize your profit that way. Okay. The rest of this shell is steel. So this is actually just going to go right into my steel pile as is. Okay, as I said, there is a panel that I want to get right here. And I need my screwdriver. This is where the control panel was. Okay, so again, this is a nice piece of steel. The control panel has some low-grade wire. This is classified as low-grade wire because, as you can see, it's very flimsy. There's a lot more plastic than there is copper inside. Low-grade wire goes for about 20 cents a pound, so you want to make sure you separate this from your appliance wire because you're going to get, if you put them together, you're going to get lowest grade. So you're going to get 20 cents if you combine them all. So make sure you separate them. This box, again, also has a silver contact in it. It has some nice brass prongs on the end. You can see there that I would take off, put into my brass bucket. Okay, and the rest of this frame is steel. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take this motor apart for you right now to show you the copper inside. And I have to change my setting here just a second. Most people will bring these in as is and get 10 cents a pound. I find, as I said, it's a lot better worth your time taking it apart. It doesn't take that much time, and with copper being the price it is right now, it's worth it. Okay, but if you don't have the time, again, you'll get about 10 cents a pound for this copper bearing motor. Okay, I take the bolts out of it. I'm just going to hit it with a hammer, loosen it out. Okay, I'm going to put my safety glasses on because I don't get debris. I want to make sure that there is no pins in it. Okay, there you go. So this is now still going to go into my steel bin. There is my copper bearing motor. So very easy. All I'm going to do actually is I'm just going to take an angle grinder, make one incision down the side, and I'm going to turn it over and pop it open. Okay, I'm also going to make sure I hit these little divot things down, just so they don't get in the way. And they just break. Okay, I'm going to get my angle grinder here. Okay, I'm going to turn it over here. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to take a screwdriver and I'm going to pop it up. So make sure I get underneath with a hammer. I got to make sure it's loose. It is glued in. Okay. So there we go. I'm going to get this out. Pliers. So nice piece of copper there. And I would go all the way around. I didn't get it all this time yet, but I will make sure that I get it. Okay, so I'm just going to turn it around, get out another one, put this underneath, hammer, do science. Okay, here's another one. And that's all I would do, is to get the copper out of here. This copper is going to go into my number 2. And after I'm done, the remaining piece of the steel is just going to go into my steel bin. So, all in all, of this dehumidifier, this is the only waste I have now. Okay, and just to recap, I have a really nice appliance cord with some really nice gold brass. I have lots of number 2 copper from the motor and the copper tubing that has the soldering. A lot of clean copper, which is number 1. I have an aluminum copper radiator. I have a really nice clean aluminum coil. A lot of steel. And most important, another appliance diverted from the landfill. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please comment down below, like, share, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next video. Tin Man out.